Good morning, everyone. Hello. Welcome to the Mega Church of Joy. As always, we had technical difficulties this morning because what else is new with your old pal Rev Deuce? Welcome in. Today we are going to get started by working on our relationship with fear. That's right, this is a multi-pronged program, one that fights disinformation as well as embraces fear. And so we want to start off today, as we will continue to start off every day, talking with everyone about their relationship with fear. So Lori K on Substack, welcome in all of you beautiful people everywhere across the universe who are getting into the tub with Deuce. Welcome in. We love you so much. It's so great to have you here. So let's get started by embracing fear as a tool to shape us into better, more successful humans. Fear's goal is to inject all of us with hate and judgment. Fear's entire program is to make us like him. But we will not be like him today. No Jason Dyer, no Lori K. We will not be like fear today. We will get into the gym. Good morning, Madison. I had technical difficulties. What else is new? Oh, speaking of technical difficulties, I forgot to put up my new green screen. Oh, no. Oh. My new green screen ensures that my hair looks pretty good. And we all know that that's the most important thing, is that our hair looks pretty good. Look at that. Look how much better my hair looks. Welcome in, Jason and everyone. Now that my hair looks way better, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Fear is the gym of the soul. Fear is the Pilates of the spirit. Fear is the CrossFit of our mind. Rev Deuce is ready to start your day with an attitude of gratitude, and we welcome everyone streaming live today this morning from the porches of Jacksonville, Florida, to the halls of Montezuma, to the shores of Tripoli. That's right, we are all here together to work on our relationship with fear. We learn to embrace fear and find joy by joining the only church founded on the tenets of good quality improvisational comedy. What in fear's name are we doing if we are not pursuing joy in every moment? We walk a rut so much that we build up a wall between us and our ability to connect to the outside world as we walk these fear's patterns. Fear is always listening, so we want you to listen too. Because every moment is an opportunity. In every moment in life, we have the opportunity to experience joy, just as in every moment in life, we have the opportunity to be afraid. So today, will you be fear's victim, or will you be fear's agent? When two beings begin to vibrate on the same frequency, in that moment they experience joy. But ego is a barrier to those matching vibrations. Fear is our God, and he communicates to us through our ego. It is our ego that keeps us from listening to others. It is our ego that keeps us acting as fear's agent in this world. And when we drop our ego, we realize that the person across from us, no matter who they are or what they look like or what they believe, is the same as us. Yes, the person across from us is the same of us, is one more universe unit attempting to vibe on the same frequency as us in pursuit of joyful harmony at all times. Just as an entire room full of people watching improv may all experience joy in the moment of laughter, When we are operating with ego, we are anticipating fear, preparing for fear, making decisions and banking on fear in a world that needs joy, that has a deficit of joy. Welcome in, Jane M. And so we speculate here in the Mega Church of Joy. We take the risk and make the big bet that if we drop our egos while we may risk great exposure, it's worth it for the windfall of joy on the other side. Laughter is the sound of surprise. So in the moment when we laugh, we are aware of nothing as much as the purity of our joyful response. How will you laugh today? Will you create barriers that you're not even aware of that keep you from laughing at things, keep you from being joyful, keep you mired in a rut of cynicism and doubt and shame and inadequacy? Will you even be mindful enough to approach the reality that you have barriers to joy in your life? Fear's darkness lights the way on the path of life. That may seem paradoxical, but even the most accomplished improviser will tell you that fear never goes away. You may be confident, but you are never about to start a scene without some trepidation, without at least some stirring in your soul. For there is no improviser that does not feel a little need to pee or poo when about to improvise. And that feeling reminds us that fear will always be by our side, even after we cross fear's threshold and attain a moment of joy. For fear is like a boomerang, friends. It will always return. But the boomerang's journey is joyful. Become joy and live for one brief moment in the light of joy. Live without fear's darkness. Jason Dyer is speaking to his fear in the Substack chat saying, I do. I believe he's referring to feeling fear. However, he feels it might be for a good cause because his fear has been pushing him to contact Senator McCormick. Now, we agree with you, Jason Dyer. For fear is a tool. Fear reminds us that we must take steps to achieve joy. Your fear, Jason, is reminding you that you must take action to achieve a world of joy, that you must reach out to your senator, you must reach out to your representative and petition them to create a world of joy. Fear is our tool. We embrace fear so that we can move on from him. We cannot ignore fear. We cannot hide from fear. We cannot run away from fear. Fear will always be there, JJ, just as you will always be here in the Substack chat. In just a little bit, folks, in about 10 minutes, we are going to sing an improvised hymn based on the suggestion of a culture war bullshit topic that is generated by the right-wing think tanks to distract and divide us. And then we will move on to reading the news with Deuce. But we invite you, JJ or Jane M. or anyone else, if you are so moved by the spirit and the energy, to call into the program. We would love to talk to you about your media diet. You are your most essential scene partner. As improvisers in the Mega Church of Joy, and every single person is an improviser. We are all just making it up as we go through this life. We are our most reliable scene partner. We are on our own two-prov team, us and our thoughts. So we must listen and agree with ourselves. Lex, welcome into the Mega Church of Joy, a secular religion created in 2014 by your old pal Rev Deuce after he took some certain ego-suppressing compounds and after his niece bought him an improv class because he looked sad. This is a religion based on the tenets of quality, improvisational comedy, energy, support, commitment, giving, connection, and gratitude. And what we do here is work on our relationship with fear, embracing fear, recognizing that fear is a tool to achieve joy, and that as improvisers, there are tools available to us to work on our relationship with fear. I'd like to speak now about the attitude of gratitude. Thank you, red ball. Thank you, blue ball. Yellow ball. Thank you. We thank the random balls to remind us that gratitude is a state of being. We don't need to have a specific thing that we are grateful for. We can simply be grateful. We can simply be gratitude and apply that state of being to all things we experience in every moment. So as you move throughout your day today, I invite you to ask yourself at all times, maybe write it down on a little Post-it note and put it right up there by your computer. And you say, what am I thankful for in this moment? What am I thankful for today? I'm thankful for coffee right now. And I'm thankful for butts. Aren't butts great? When we express gratitude throughout the day, we find that we are buzzing with the right kind of energy. And we remind you to go to the energy corner a couple times a day. We remind you that you should breathe in and breathe out. David loves butts in the chat. Breathe in and breathe out. Be mindful of your breath just as you should be mindful of your fear. Every time when you're meditating, you notice a thought that you are having that is not a focus on your breath. You gently redirect yourself back to your breath as you go through life. When you realize that you are experiencing fear or anxiety, redirect yourself to that understanding that that is an opportunity. An opportunity to connect with another human being, an opportunity to seek joy in other human beings, for that is how we achieve joy. The surest path to joy is human connection, yes and. So let's read the Daily Dose, and then let's move on to reading the news with Deuce after we sing an improvised hymn. And of course, our hymns are inspired by culture war bullshit that the billionaires create for us in the think tanks they created so that grifters can go and lobby them to create new things for us like woke and CRT and DEI and, these attacks on random stuff in the world to create a warped reality, fears reality that they have us living in at all times. The Whitakers, not just one Whitaker, but all the Whitakers. They don't want men to be men anymore. Oh, that's funny, David. Okay, David's hopping in on the suggestions. So as we move through the religious portion of the program, the secular religion based on the tenets of quality improvisational comedy, we are drawing that portion of the show to a close, and then we will get into the news with Deuce, where we will be fact warriors spreading fact-based information. We will take action supporting a fact-based influencer and spreading their gospel of fact-based information. We will be fact warriors. Welcome the Whitakers. What do you have to say about any of this? Please, if you are here on Substack, tap that little heart button. That would really help me out. If you are on Twitch, talk as much as you possibly can. If you are on YouTube, also talk as much as you possibly can, and like and subscribe and follow and boost as much as you can in any way possible. Marcus, welcome into the program. We are wrapping up with our secular religion portion of the program, and I am going to read a prayer that we have created here called the Daily Dose, which is a way that you can interact with your fellow human beings and get to a point of connection with them, because human connection is the surest path towards joy. Yes, and so we say, and be welcome in. We say self, You can all say this to yourselves as you're talking to yourself here. Here we go. You say, self, today I endeavor to be a better teammate than yesterday. I vow to keep it simple, to listen better, to commit harder, and to give more expertly. It is my joyous burden to make those around me appear as rock stars. You are a rock star, Anby. You are a rock star, Marcus. You are a rock star, Lex. You are a rock star, the Whitakers. The Pargas family knows they are rock stars and support the ideas of others. I will move past obstructions, drop insecurities, and put trust in myself and others. I will attempt to emotionally connect with whomever I meet. You might say, how are you? How are you feeling today? That's beautiful. I love you. I say this in the spirit of best intentions. Yes, and. Now, if you would like to share your fear with the group, if you would like to call in, none of your personal information will be shared at all. We would love to hear about you and your relationship with fear. The phone line is open. I just opened it. It was not open before, because Deuce can't avoid technical difficulties. You know what I mean? So here we go. We are ready, and now we are going to improvise a hymn. We are going to improvise a song based on the suggestion of anything at all, and that suggestion is they don't want men to be men anymore. So I need the suggestion of a genre. I need the suggestion of a genre. Please type it into the chat. Rev Deuce is going to improvise a song based on the suggestion of the culture war bullshit idea that they won't allow men to be men anymore. Your child will go to school and his wiener will be cut off. That is what they are telling you at all times. The most insane stuff you've ever heard. It's not true. None of it's true. No children, no little boys are going to schools and having their wiener cut off. It's just not how school goes ever. And people who aren't MAGA aren't celebrating the wieners being cut off. I mean, come on, this is absurd. All right. Okay, we need the suggestion of anything at all from the crowd for a genre. Substack, you're awfully quiet. I know a lot of you like to go to work and listen to the dulcet tones of the Deuce Meister, but we need to get some information. Felicia, would you like to suggest a musical genre? We are about to improvise a song based on the suggestion of the culture war bullshit idea that they generate for us to divide us, of they don't want men to be men anymore. Have you heard something more ridiculous in your life? Who's they? Oh, Madison. Oh, wait, we've got from Felicia, we've got funk. So we've got, sorry, Madison, but we have to honor Felicia because Felicia is a newbie. So welcome in. Keep tapping that button. We've just had multiple people show up and we want you to see the program here. We've just finished the secular religious portion of the program. We are ending it with a hymn. That hymn is going to be improvised and based on the suggestion of the culture war bullshit idea that they do not want men to be men anymore. What does that even mean? We'll find out as Rev Deuce improvises a song. It's not going to be that one. It's not going to be that one. Not gonna be that one. Okay, it's gonna be this one. It's so funky and it's like also rock. It's rock funk. So here we go. Here we go, everybody. Rev Deuce is going to improvise a song for you all right now based on the suggestion of the culture war bullshit idea that they do not want men to be men anymore. Let me drive a car. How else am I gonna get to work? They won't let me go to a bar. How else am I gonna be a jerk? They won't let me have a wife. How am I gonna make those babies? How am I gonna do anything in this world? They won't let me be a man anymore. Won't let me be a man anymore. Won't let me be a man anymore. I can't tell people that they are less than me. I have to sit down every time I pee. I can't be a man, not the way that I wanna be. I can't show up to a place and sprout and sheen and be. I can't be a man, I can't be mean to my wife. I can't slap my kids in public, what is the deal? Won't let me be, won't let me be, won't let me be, won't let me be. I can't be a man anymore in this world. I can't be a man anymore in this world. I can't be a man anymore in this world. I can't be a man anymore in this world. I just want to call people names. I just want to make others beneath me feel shame. I just want a trad wife who cooks and cleans and never talks back. Never talks back. My wife don't talk back. Can't be a man. Nah. Okay, well, we did it. We did that one. So there we go. We can't be a man anymore in this world. Are you kidding my daddy? They won't let me be a man anymore. I can't. First of all, I have to go to the store and buy groceries with my wife. How ridiculous. What man on this world? You know, the funniest thing about this whole can't be a man anymore thing is that, like, Pete Hegseth, it came out the other day that Pete Hegseth was, is installing a makeup studio into the Pentagon. And Jesse Waters is always talking about masculinity on his show. And Jesse Waters is doing that in a full face of makeup. You know what I mean? So let's get into it. If you like the program, if you just enjoyed the song, we are moving on to reading the news with Deuce. We read the news with Deuce to give you the context you need to understand the news. Information and our relationship to it is everything in this world. Information becomes our outcomes. My bias is towards facts and democracy. That is the bias of everyone in the Mega Church of Joy. We fight back against the weaponized disinformation. The culture war is nothing more than a missile made by the psychological arms dealers at right-wing think tanks. We push back against that. If you like that, talk in the chat. Type that little tappy on the heart. The media is our something that we need to work about and know and understand. And our media diets, we are all having media diets that are the equivalent of broken glass and dog shit milkshakes, and we have to improve everyone's media diet in this country. If you agree, tap the heart button, share this with a friend and a neighbor right now, shout across the fence, say, hey, we're tuning into the Rev Deuce show. You better get hip to it, my dudes. We are fact warriors. You're going to stop doom scrolling and you're going to start fact spreading right now with your friend Deuce. Your friend Deuce needs to set up the screen share hot tub, which he has not done yet because he is a big dummy. So let's go. Let's get it set up. Rev Deuce, what are you even doing? Let's go. Display capture. Make it happen, my boy. You can do it, Deucey. Here we go. We see it's up on the screen. No, didn't work. Window capture. Here we go. Let's go. Here we go, Deucey. Window capture. Hold on. Nope. Hold on, everybody. Rev Deuce. There we go. It's the display capture that Rev Deuce doesn't want you to see. Oh, how do we do this? Oh, no. Hold, please. Hold, please. Hold, please. There we go. No, that's not it. Hold, please. Hold, please. There we go. Boom. All right. Now you're getting us into the behind the scenes. Here we go. We're reading the news with Deuce, Betsy England Zook. Betsy Egeland Zook. Now that is a name. Is Zook your last name, Betsy, or is Zook your married name? We want to know. We want to know where the name Zook comes from. Let's get into it and read the news with Deuce. We're going to start with something pretty bad. Actually, I think we're going to start with this today. So we're going to start with this. This is the, so the first thing that a fascist does is attacks the media, right? The first thing a fascist does is say that the media is the enemy of the people, and Donald Trump has been doing that for quite some time. It's also a program that goes all the way back to our good friend Richard Nixon. He was telling Henry Kissinger, and they were plotting about how the media is the enemy and they need to attack it, and the idea that we have a liberal media exists and originates from the 1970s, where this entire right-wing program began, and now we are in the end game of it right now. So we are going to watch. They fired the producer, or rather the producer of 60 Minutes resigned because he could not work in the conditions. And so we heard that there was some pushback by 60 Minutes against the ownership, Paramount, of CBS. So we want to watch this closing remarks from them yesterday.
In tonight's Last Minute, a note on Bill Owens, who until this past week was executive producer of 60 Minutes. He was our boss. Bill was with CBS News nearly 40 years, 26 years at 60 Minutes. He covered the world, covered combat, the White House. His was a quest to open minds, not close them. If you've ever worked hard for a boss because you admired him, then you understand what we've enjoyed here. Bill resigned Tuesday. It was hard on him and hard on us, but he did it for us and you. Stories we've pursued for 57 years are often controversial. Lately, the Israel-Gaza war and the Trump administration. Bill made sure they were accurate and fair. He was tough that way. But our parent company, Paramount, is trying to complete a merger. The Trump administration must approve it. Paramount began to supervise our content in new ways. None of our stories has been blocked, but Bill felt he lost the independence that honest journalism requires. No one here is happy about it, but in resigning, Bill proved one thing. He was the right person to lead 60 Minutes all along. I'm Scott Pelley. We'll be back next week with another edition of 60 Minutes.
All right, so in some ways you would hope that the entire episode of 60 Minutes would be about this reality of the Trump administration and its attacks on the press, its cronyism, its transactional, corrupt nature, right? Like suing CBS for $20 billion. Meanwhile, CBS's parent company, Paramount, has like a major merger deal that needs to be approved by the federal government, so it is a form of extortion. And then, you've seen Larry Ellison's son, who runs Paramount, interacting with Trump and appearing in his spaces. So there's a lot of corruption there, but we just wanted to highlight, to start the program today of Reading the News with Deuce, we wanted to highlight the attacks on the press, which are ongoing, and we need to be aware of them and fight for the press. Now, this is horrible, and I wanted to check in on it with everyone. So a man was charged with ramming his car into a Vancouver festival crowd. The police are confident that it was not an act of terrorism, and they say that it was likely due to mental health. This was a 30-year-old man who is in custody, and apparently he is known to the Vancouver police as being someone who is a mentally unwell person. But so I just wanted to touch on this to speak about it, and it's horrible, and I'm gonna scroll up so we do not have to see some of these images, but 12 people killed, ranging from the ages of 5 to 65 years old. It is horrible, but what it speaks especially to is that there is a form of terrorism at play here, and it is the terrorism of not having a world that is healthier, the terrorism of disconnection, and that when we have people in our world and in our lives who are mentally unwell, it is sometimes hard to get them the resources. Now, this man lived in Vancouver. He lived in a country that has universal health care. But I think globally, with the rise of the internet, we need to recognize that the internet is one of the most revolutionary information technologies that has ever existed. It is on par with the Gutenberg press, which caused strife and unrest across Europe and the world for centuries. Just the idea of the movable type printing press, right? And so we are in the early stages of an information revolution. It's only 20 years into the internet as the social media space where we are all interacting that it has become. I'm not talking about the Prodigy days or the CompuServe days. No, certainly not. Whatever this malignant thing that is the internet as it currently exists is impacting all of our ability to stand up. Oh, that's so funny. I just saw in the chat you're talking about broken glass and dog shit milkshakes and telling your 6-year-old son about them, and I love that. That's incredible. So we are just so sad for the people there in Vancouver, and we are so sad for the world because we are obviously disconnected. And so we need to come together with facts and fact-based information and share it with the world. And we also need to come together with joy and love in our hearts and support every human being, because an act like this happens in a world that is so greatly disordered, right? We have so many incidents of these kinds of things, right? And so, of course, isolated incidents of mental illness that have led to tragedy have happened for eons, but we see that happening more and more as everything is accelerated and exaggerated and turned up to 11 in this world and online. And so we just want to honor those people and say how sorry we are for their families and the people of Canada and the people of Vancouver. And now let's keep talking about the news, checking in on the news with Deuce. So this is since becoming interim U.S. Attorney, Ed Martin has dropped capital cases, rushed to defend Elon Musk's Doge, and launched sweeping probes into Trump's political enemies. And then this is an article that goes through some of his most contentious actions. So we want you to join our Discord, and we want you to get into the Fact Warrior channel on our Discord, where we drop all of these stories in. And so we can talk about them and we can spread them across the internet. So we are fact warriors here. And so what I want everybody to do is to go right now and spread this information. So actually, you know what? I am calling. I'm putting it to go right now and putting it in the chat. I'm so sorry. Hold on. This is a nightmare. I'm putting it in the chat, fam. Okay, I put it in the chat, fam. And so I want you to spread that information. We are actually going to pause for 1 second, and we are going to do something. We are going to do something that I think we should do. We're going to take an action and all be fact warriors right now in this moment. Can you handle it? Are you ready? We are going to drop into the chats a piece of fact-based influencer information that you are going to share widely. Okay, that's how we're going to do it. That's how we do it. So we are going to go to Instagram. We are going to go to Rev Deuce's saved videos, which sometimes Rev Deuce saves disinformation. So do not share all of Rev Deuce's posts on here. And we are going to find Attorney Ryan. Here he is. And we are going to share this from Attorney Ryan. Okay? So we are going to be all fact warriors right now. So please go into the chat and go and take this video from Attorney Ryan, and you will go and you will share it right now. So you will contribute to spreading fact-based information on the internet. Isn't that exciting? That's how we do it here. Madison, welcome in. Beaming across multiple platforms is Madison. Incredible stuff. Okay, let's keep going through the news with Rev Deuce. Rev Deuce, your best friend. 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 So, defending January 6th. So we could read this. Maybe we'll take a quick look inside, but we also highly recommend ProPublica for your information needs. So definitely go and subscribe or donate to ProPublica. Make it one of your main sources of information, ProPublica. So we think that you should be doing that. That is where you will get a pro-democracy, pro-fact-based source of news that is, in the public interest. So Donald Trump chose Ed Martin to be the top U.S. attorney for Washington, D.C. The decision came as a shock to current and former federal prosecutors, as well as to outside legal experts. Martin had no prosecutorial experience. He was best known as a conservative activist, the former right-hand man to influential anti-feminist icon Phyllis Schlafly, and a loyal Trump surrogate. So I did not even know that about Ed Martin. So, please go and share that piece of information about Ed Martin. I'm going to drop this as well into the Substack chat. Please go and spread that piece of information. Be a fact warrior, because we are in an information war at all times, whether you know it or not. That's right. We are always in an information war. Ignore that preview of the intro. We are always in an information war at all times, and you could be sucking down information light. Or you could be keeping it real with information tight. That is what I'm talking about, baby. We want to welcome in Michaela? Is that your name, Michaela? Okay, we sure hope it is. Damn. We want to welcome in Michaela, and we want everybody who's on Twitch to talk as much as they possibly can to each other back and forth so that we get boosted, because we want everyone to be exposed to the program here, to the fact that we are fact warriors spreading fact-based information in the face of an information war that is being waged against us by the right-wing billionaires and oligarchs, and has been happening for decades. And we'd love for you to call in and talk to us about your media diet. We'd love for you to call in and talk to us about what you're afraid of. So good morning, Michaela. We love you. You are a rock star. How will you spread fact-based information today that aligns with small d democratic values? And how will you tell people you love them today? A roadmap of Trump's lawless presidency, according to 35 legal scholars. So this is the New York Times. We obviously have a critique of mainstream legacy media and how it has normalized Donald Trump and the extremism of the Republican MAGA party for the last decade. But we also understand that we need to be fact warriors, and we cannot be pure about our sources of information. We just need to be spreading information that is biased towards democracy and towards facts. So this is a piece that is by the opinion section, and it is talks about all of the lawlessness of Donald Trump in an extremely mainstream way. So we invite you to share this with your friends and your loved ones. This is interesting about this is that they made sure to say that, we talked to all of them. We talked to all kinds of legal scholars, and they say a group full of diverse viewpoints, right? And one of those diverse viewpoints that they make sure to include is they say that there's a libertarian. Libertarians like Ilya Somin, right, at George Mason University. Now, if you did not know this, George Mason University is a place that is also owned and created by the right-wing billionaires, and it is a place where they generate, scholarship. They generate scholarship based on or to advance their agenda. So it's, but then, what's good about this piece overall is that even this libertarian who basically works at the place that is there to generate pro right-wing business elite, religious extremist scholarship, right, Hi, Dara. Hello. Welcome. We love you. You are a rock star, Dara. Right. So even with that being the case for Ilya Somin, they are coming out in this piece against the Trump administration and how absolutely lawless it is. One of the first things they quote, which I thought was very, very strong, was more important than any specific example of unconstitutional conduct is the overall pattern, the depth and breadth of this administration's disregard for civil liberties, political pluralism, the separation of powers, and legal constraints of all kinds mark it as an authoritarian regime. That is the crucial thing to see. So we are going to drop this into the Substack chat. And the reason we're doing that is so that you can right now in real time, while you are here watching the program, be a fact warrior. Because we have a phone call coming into the show. Let's answer the phone call. Hello, you are live with Rev Deuce. Welcome.
Hi, man. This is Jimmy.
Oh, hey, Jimmy. How are you?
Man, I'm doing pretty good this morning. This is my first time listening in on your show. And I'm digging what you're saying right now, but man, I got some fear about it. You're talking about they're just not noticing this slip into authoritarianism, and I'm afraid my fellow Americans just won't recognize that, or to be honest with you, quite frankly, I'm worried they just won't care.
Well, there's a big chance that they won't care, Jimmy. Now, Jimmy, I'd like to just reach across the internet and put my hand on your shoulder and say, I got your back.
Thank you, man.
Can you say the same?
Too.
Oh, that's beautiful. So we like to get each other's backs here because we realize that human connection is the foundation for joy. And so we have to connect, even if we're strangers on the internet. And so, Jimmy, the thing is that we may not have people who recognize that we're in authoritarianism. And we may have 1/3 of our nation who are actually plugged into the information stream created by the would-be and current authoritarians. And so they are being told that everyone who is not them, everyone who's not listening to their stream of information are the real authoritarians, right? There was a lot of work done with the things like the Twitter files and things like this guy Mike Benz, who go on all these right-wing programs in the manosphere and these other places, and they say things like, there was a censorship regime when Biden and his administration were trying to push back against public health disinformation during a time when we had a global pandemic, right? Well, look, there may have been instances where the government was reaching out to private companies and saying, we'd like you to take a look at this disinformation, but they were not doing that with really other topics, right? They were not necessarily doing that with any other topic besides either, COVID disinformation or I guess maybe sometimes domestic terrorism. And so, we can't make sure that people recognize the authoritarianism. But the only thing we can do then, and Jimmy, and the program here is the only thing we can do is spread fact-based information to as many places across the internet where people might see it as possible. That's really the only way. That's what we believe here. What do you think about that, Jimmy?
Well, I mean, that sounds really good, but that just kind of speaks to my fear that they just won't really care. They just don't want to know about this stuff. And, I get that one side's being fed like, hey, the liberals are coming after our free speech and all. But if you believe that there's an attack on free speech, why wouldn't you care that, people are getting kicked out of the White House press room and that they're not being invited back in and all this?
Yeah, I mean, I think we see the power of confirmation bias, of availability bias, of the human psychological need for comfort, of the human psychological need for connection, community, and control. And so if you are plugged into a community that is all on board for the Trump program, and if you go to a church where your pastor says Donald Trump is a man of God, and then your mayor is saying it, and then your boss is saying that Donald Trump is a businessman who's got it all figured out, you are going to be more likely to support what's going on without necessarily investigating too deeply. And so I think that that's what's happening. And so we have to just expose people. Exposure is the enemy of ignorance. And so once we have more information available to us, we may be able to see that, that this is a program, a specific program to weaponize information against all of us.
I appreciate it, man, and I'm definitely plugging into this. I'm probably never going to call back again, but I do appreciate you, man. Lots of love.
Well, Jimmy, the line is there goes Jimmy. Jimmy, the line is always open. We love having people call into the show to talk to us about how they feel about the information ecosystem. We want to remind people at all times that information is everything. Information becomes our outcomes. The world we have right now that is so crazy, and we do not know what to do. We aren't sure how to act. We aren't sure what we can do and who will save us. The answer is we will save us. All of us here watching today will grow this movement and make people fact warriors across the internet and across the world, because we are fighting the oligarchs and the billionaires at all times in an ongoing information war. And are you fighting, or are you sitting on the sidelines? Just a reminder, this program is brought to you by Grass Milk. Grass Milk, soar. So go out to your local store and grab some grass milk every time that you can, so that the show knows that they're getting, everything they need for their dollar. Please tap that screen. Tap that heart on TikTok, or no, we're not on TikTok. Tap that heart on Substack, and please tell everyone about Public Enlightenment and what we're doing here. So Marco Rubio is all right. This show is also sponsored by I don't think I have it. Oh no, Madison, I haven't loaded it up onto this thing yet. I apologize. I apologize, Madison. This show is also sponsored by Madison, the patron saint of the grift. You see Follow the Fear, Venmo, and Cash App up there. Please support your old pal Deuce by either subscribing with a paid subscription on Substack, or send your pal Deuce, buy him a cup of coffee. Coffee ain't cheap anymore. Nothing's cheap, so he appreciates all of your money. Put your fear into your money, and when you send it to Rev Deuce, I will make sure that I actually eliminate all of your fears. So if you have $1 million and you want to put all your fear into it, send it to Deuce. I think they handle $1 million transactions on Venmo and Cash App. So that's what we're looking for today from you. If you appreciate this programming, appreciate finding healthy sources of information, if you want, type into the chat what you want. You want Rev Deuce to debunk some disinfo, cover a certain story that you have not seen too much coverage of, we can do it live here. Please send Rev Deuce $1 billion. So Marco Rubio is on Meet the Press defending the Trump administration deporting U.S. citizen children. One thing I'm not sure my audience is aware of is that there are literally now court cases, court hearings where it's just children, where it's just little kids are just in a room like playing with toys, and a judge has to tell them why they're there. They don't have any legal representation. They just have literally the people from the state who take care of orphans. This is real. That's what's happening. I may have it saved in my thing. But so let's watch and see how this program is being propagandized about, okay?
U.S. citizen children have been deported with their mothers. Now, this is according to the Washington Post. The family's lawyer says one of them is a 4-year-old with stage 4 cancer, deported without medication or ability to contact doctors. The family's lawyers are also saying their clients were denied communication with family and legal representatives before being deported. And it's raising concerns about the issue of due process, that it's being violated. So let me ask you, is everyone on U.S. soil, citizens and non-citizens, entitled to due process?
Yes, of course. But let me tell you, it looks in immigration standing, the laws are very specific. If you're in this country unlawfully, you have no right to be here and you must be removed. That's what the law says. Somehow over the last 20 years, we've completely lost this notion that somehow or completely adopted this idea that yes, we have immigration laws, but once you come into our country illegally, it triggers all kinds of rights that can keep you here indefinitely. That's why we were being flooded at the border. And we've ended that, and that's why you see a historically low number of people not just trying to cross our border, trying to cross the border into Panama, all the way down in the Darien Gap. I mean, it's been a huge help for those countries as well. On the headline, that's a misleading headline. okay? 3 U.S. citizens, ages 4, 7, and 2, were not deported. Their mothers, who are legally in this country, were deported. The children went with their mothers. If those children are U.S. citizens, they can come back into the United States if there's their father or someone here who wants to assume them. But ultimately, who was deported was their mothers who were here illegally. The children just went with their mothers. But it wasn't like, you guys make it sound like ICE agents kicked down the door and grabbed the 2-year-old and threw him on an airplane. That's misleading.
Yeah.
That's just not true.
Just to be clear, because I do want to get to the
what did
overhaul
they do?
at the State Department. Is it the U.S. policy to deport children, even U.S. citizens, with their families, and I hear what you're saying, without due process? Just to be very clear there.
Well, no. Again, if someone's in this country unlawfully, illegally, that person gets deported. If that person is with a 2-year-old child or has a 2-year-old child and says, I want to take my child with me, well, then you have 2 choices. You can say, yes, of course you can take your child, whether they're a citizen or not, because it's your child. Or you can say, yes, you can go, but your child must stay behind. And then your headlines would read, U.S. holding hostage 2-year-old, 4-year-old, 7-year-old while mother deported. So the parents make that choice. I imagine those 3 U.S. citizen children have fathers here in the United States.
Yeah.
They can stay with their father. That's up to their family to decide where the children go. Children go with their parents. Parents decide where their children go.
Right.
The U.S. deported their mothers who were illegally in America.
Mr. Secretary.
Now, you see one thing, I'm loving the chat, and please, especially if you are in YouTube or Twitch, please chat as much as you possibly can. And on Substack, we want to hear from you as well. But so, the thing that speaks out to me about this is that, the term deportation. Now, were these families deported back to their country of origin? That's what a deportation is. A deportation is delivering someone back to the country that they were originated from. Anything else is an exiling. Anything else is an illegal rendering to a foreign prison. Anything else is basically not deportation. And so I don't want that to get lost in the midst of all of this, right? Like, I do not believe necessarily, we could look into it, but I do not believe that these mothers and their U.S. citizen children are being put into a El Salvadoran prison camp. But so much of the conversation is, decontextualized. I was reading in the New York Times, and they kept saying the word deport for people like Kilmar Abrego Garcia. That is not what happened to Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Kilmar Abrego Garcia was put into a prison camp for life. He was not deported. Right? He was not brought back to the country he was originating from so that he could live a free life and make any decision that he wanted with his life while there. He was put into a prison camp. That is not deportation. So we just wanted to show you the propaganda campaign of Marco Rubio, another of fear's agents in this world, acting to cause more misery, while we on the Mega Church of Joy are constantly seeking to cause joy by being fact warriors. How will you be a fact warrior today? If you missed out on some of the links that we dropped so far in the program, please go to our Discord. You can find the link at publicenlightenment.com in the link tree to go and join our Discord, where we are dropping materials that you can use to get stronger on the issue of information, to help to give you context for the world that we live in. There is a library where we fill it with books that you can read and movies that you can watch. We watched Bad Faith the other day. We recommend that everyone watch Bad Faith, the movie that does a good job in an hour and a half outlining for everyone how really what we have in addition to the techno-fascist accelerationists movement, for 60 years, 70 years, 80 years in this country, we have had Christian nationalist extremist billionaires who are generating the culture war, who are causing all of our problems, who are tearing us apart as a country. And so we push back on that here. Yes, and let's keep reading the news with Rev Deuce, your friend and partner in the information war. Remember, are you sucking down information light? Or are you a fact warrior who is obsessively sharing information tight every single time you are online? Hell yeah, be a fact warrior. You know what I mean? This note is unavailable. I wonder what note I wonder what this was. Well, we'll never see. It's unavailable. Okay, moving along. Okay, something's going right. We have something's going right. We have a troll in the chat. Irving A. Lurch, Marge, Barbara Cox, Annie, are you here? Do you have anything to say? The New Republic, this May 22nd dinner is a high crime and misdemeanor. A president of the United States can't use the office to enrich himself in this way from potentially anonymous donors for whom he might do favors. This is as textbook as corruption gets. MAGA, our MAGA friends and loved ones and neighbors are absorbing an information stream that is meant to manipulate them and meant to get them to cheer for one of the most corrupt and unfit people who's ever had the opportunity to be a leader in this country. And meanwhile, our mainstream corporate legacy journalism is failing to properly identify Donald Trump as the threat that he is. Maybe they're doing it a little bit right now, but it's been the case for the last 10 years. I saw a political cartoon that was extremely intense. It was the Twin Towers. One of the towers was labeled the rule of law. The other tower was labeled the Constitution, and there was a plane flying towards it that was labeled Trump. The author of that cartoon, the illustrator, said that that had been rejected by the editors at their paper years ago as too alarmist, but obviously it's extremely graphic. The thing about political cartoonists is that they make points in these very succinct, graphic ways, and so we thought that that was an intense but necessary way to frame the issue, but it was denied. So thank you so much, everybody, for the hearts and for the chats. Tom Brady is here. Tom Brady, I used to be a New York Football Giants fan until I had to give up my love for football because of the ownership and their hiding of the CTE stuff, their desire to constantly support domestic abusers just because they could run fast or throw a football. But Tom Brady is in the chat, so we welcome you, Tom Brady, even though you obviously have a complicated relationship with fear because you have cheated, and that's okay. Everyone's doing the best they can with what they have, Tom Brady. But, we want you to get some therapy. So look, we just want to share with people that this is something that you should share to your networks, this piece of information about from the New Republic. So we're going to drop that into the chat, and you are going to be a fact warrior by going out into the world of social media, and you are going to share that article on your Facebook, on your Instagram, on your TikTok. You're going to make some content based on that piece of information about how corrupt Donald Trump is. I know that this is a wonky view, so I want people to... Sorry, I'm going to get off of that view. Tammy, welcome. We love you. Tap that heart on the thing if you like to be a fact warrior, if you, like us, want to go across the internet and flood the zone with facts in the face of the fascists who are flooding the zone with shit. So we are reading the news with Deuce. If you want to, you can call in live and talk to your old pal Deuce about your media diet so that we can all learn from you. We can talk about your fears so that we can all support you. We can talk about you debunking disinformation so that we can be fact warriors at all times in the information war. That's right, it is a war for our minds at all times, and we are doing the things to be fine. Okay, let's get back into the screen share tub. Let's check it out. What is the next thing here? Oh, wait, what happened? Boop. Okay, what is the next thing here? Nope, that was not it. Nope, that was not it. Nope. What a nightmare. Technical difficulties for the Deuce Meister. So here we go, another day, another spectacularly corrupt pardon, this time a $10 million tax-evading healthcare executive whose mother played a role in trying to expose the contents of Ashley Biden's I don't know what that means, Madison, but we should do more chat memes. Ashley Biden's diary. In this administration, you earn a pardon for your crimes by committing or facilitating more crimes. That's great perspective from Will Salatin. Who is Will Salatin? He's a writer for The Bulwark. Okay, we'll follow him. Okay, so this is from the New York Times. Trump pardons Paul Walczak, whose family sought to publicize Ashley Biden's diary. So he's pardoning someone who was convicted of tax crimes. Of course, if you are hooked up to the MAGA stream of information, you've been told that the IRS can't do anything good. Streamlabs is Todd, the god of fear. This is a second. Oh, it worked. Wait, what? Wait, how is this happening? Why is this happening? So everybody, I want you to know that I set up a chat bot, and the problem, okay, two problems now. Two problems. One problem is that it's going to duplicate every single time, but the chat bot after so long. Hey, Steve Glicken, MD. Steve Glicken, do you have any fact-based influencers that you want to recommend to everyone so that we can flood the zone with facts in the face of the fascists who want to flood the zone with shit? We would love to know if you have fact-based health influencers that you follow that we could share with everyone right now, and they could go like and support that influencer so that we can. Because did you know what? Wow, Streamlabs is going off the chain. I love it. So we want to spread the zone with facts, flood the zone with facts in the face of the disinformers. So we are going to drop this piece right in here. Great. Thank you, Steve. Meanwhile, while you think about it, Steve, we are going to drop this in here. One of those fact-based influencers that we like to spread, because we are all taking action throughout the program to be fact warriors so that we model for ourselves what it means to be fact warriors when we are not here in the program. But one of the fact warriors that we do enjoy is this pediatric immunologist. I don't know if that's a thing, but let's find him right now so that we can share him with all of you. And you can let us know if this guy is legit. I think he's legit. So he's got 1 million followers. That is, of course, no indication of legitimacy. But let's see. His most recent video is this one. He's got a book. He's promoting a book. But let's see.
Range of manifestations ranging from highly functioning children to children that are quite severely disabled.
So we're gonna drop Allergy Rubin in there, and we think that you should share his videos and his content. And so that's the deal. So please go spread and share fact-based information. Log on to publicenlightenment.com. Flood the zone with facts about due process rights. Push back against Charlie Kirk's indoctrination program. Spread all of these articles that we're writing here at all times. Steve, we're going to go through the program and continue, but what's being alleged in that video, we do not know. We're just going to keep moving on just because we want to get to some other stuff. And I love you, Steve, and I'm so grateful for you. And we're so grateful that you want to be a fact warrior with us. So this is just some perspective I thought was cool, so I took it down. So 4 black students sat at a whites-only counter knowing they'd face harassment and threats. 6 months later, their persistence forced Woolworths to desegregate. 60 years later, that symbol is being erased from our National Museum because it's too woke. So I wanted to look into that just a little bit more. So let's say Smithsonian, Woolworth. Are they really getting rid of the Woolworth lunch counter photo? Woolworth. Let's see what it says. Oh, okay. Woolworths remains at... Okay. So let's just see. All right. Rally, News, and Observer were pieces of Greensboro. Okay. Let's just check in on this story. Trump orders ideology removed from Smithsonian. What about North Carolina sit-ins exhibit. Let's just check in on this story because it would be truly next level if they are just, it's one thing to create this ridiculous talking point that white children are being shamed in their schools by being taught the history of racism and slavery and Jim Crow and, lynching and all these horrible things. It's quite one thing to be, telling your listeners and your audience that as part of a right-wing propaganda ecosystem's attack on all of our brains, but it is an entirely other thing that is super extreme for the government to start removing history from national museums. So Trump issued an executive order last month putting Vice President J.D. Vance and attorney in charge of finding and removing improper ideology from monuments, museums, and National Zoo. Okay. Improper ideology. On Thursday, Black Press USA published a report that an exhibit from a historic moment in the civil rights movement, Greensboro's Woolworth Company lunch counter, fell victim to Trump's order. This Black Press USA stated that Trump officials are sending back exhibit items to their rightful owners and dismantling them. The Smithsonian has a section of the original counter on display. The other section is housed in a Greensboro museum. The National Museum of African American History and Culture in Washington is home to two of the lunch counter stools. Smithsonian Institute spokesperson said that the lunch counter is not at risk. The Greensboro lunch counter is not leaving the Smithsonian. It is on display at the National Museum. Okay. Black Press USA article specifically mentioned that the exhibit was leaving the National Museum of African American History and Culture. No artifacts have left the museum, according to someone who works there. Okay, so it seems as though that story is not true, that they are actually removing it. And maybe they had plans to, and then it was pushed back on and they stopped. That's also possible, right? That is entirely possible. But where were we seeing that story? I don't even remember. How did we see it? Okay. Okay, well, this is a different one, and I wanted people to see this, right? So the mainstream media, legacy media, is not covering the massive pro-democracy movement with the frequency and prominence that is required of it. I do want to hip everyone to the reality that I also produce a show as part of the Media and Democracy Project, this is not an official Media Democracy Project sanctioned thing, but I want people to also see that we are producing an information war report, that we talked about this subject in the most recent episode of the Information War Report. So that is right here. This is me.
The public
and my buddy Milo, and so I just want to show you this little section here about,
in 2024,
here we go.
The larger days of protest in recent history. Do you know what the numbers were?
So we
for
can
April
see there
5th,
on the screen
I
that
think it's fair to say it was between 1 and 3 million. It's more than a million people.
the day after millions of people took to the streets on April 5th. This is where the New York Times covered it, and over here you see this is where the Washington Post covered it.
Took to the streets to oppose threats to American democracy. And this was not a sufficiently covered story and received lip service on both of the two major news organizations the next day.
We've got the bottom of the Washington Post. It just refers you to another part of it. And we've got a tiny little picture there with, I guess...
Oh, no, it says 2026.
Or whatever that is way more
Sorry,
important
it says 2026. I can't believe Milo and I didn't even notice that. What a bunch of clowns.
Pro-democracy movement coverage.
But so then there was more protests on April 19th, and the next day the New York Times covered it zero. The next day the Washington Post put it over there. How ridiculous. So anyway, as part of that, what we were talking about just now is that, like, we want people to see as much of this as possible. I gave a performance earlier last Monday, and there was someone else there who was talking about protest safety, and they were saying never record, never live stream. And I was saying I always record and I always live stream because I don't think that, like, at a peaceful protest we should be so scared. And if something does go down, I think we have to show people what's happening. And the mainstream press and our legacy institutions are not showing people what's happening. So I wanted to share this. This is a young lady at a John Ossoff town hall. John Ossoff being a senator from Georgia, the Democratic Party. And this lady is saying, why not call for impeachment? And the response is that, you know, they don't have the votes for the impeachment. But the reality is that, what do you think that the MAGA information and PR and marketing departments would be doing? They would be talking about impeaching Biden because they don't care about if they have the numbers or not. They care about messaging, and they're much more successful at that than the Democrats, who are terrible at messaging. Here we go.
Calls for impeachment. This is unacceptable. I will not live in an authoritative country, and neither will any of these people. You can do more. Think outside the box. He needs to be impeached. I will not live like this. My dad is retired full-bird Army colonel. My parents are healthcare. I have a son with autism. I have kids that attend Title I school. Do you think that there's nothing can be done? No. Do something more. I like you, and I will vote for you if you are brave and you do what we need. We need him impeached. We need him removed.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hell yeah. Every American should be standing up and going to their constituent meetings with members of Congress and asking for the same thing.
There is no doubt that
We'll
this
watch John
president's
Ossoff's
conduct has
response.
already exceeded any prior standard for impeachment by the United States House of Representatives. I mean, I saw just 48 hours ago. He is
I'm so
granting
close to him, I'll kiss him.
audiences to people who buy his meme coin. Did you guys see this? So it is, in our corrupt political system, it is a standard practice, tragically, for elected officials to grant audiences and time to people in exchange for campaign contributions. He is granting audiences to people who purchase the meme coin that directly enriches him. So, where is everybody who was so furious about Hunter Biden's paintings? Which, by the way, I do not defend. When the sitting president of the United States is selling access for what are effectively payments directly to him, there is no question that that rises to the level of an impeachable offense. And the reality is that that's just one of many. Defying a federal court order, for example. So, I agree with you. But as I said at the beginning, I also have no choice but to be candid with you about the situation that we face and the tools that are at our disposal. As strongly as I agree with you, man. And I regret if this is an unwelcome response. But my job is to be honest.
Loser energy here.
The only way to achieve what you want to achieve is to have a majority in the United States House of Representatives. And there is, and believe me, I'm working on it every single day. Every single day. And I want to work creatively with you to identify more solutions, more that I can do.
So it doesn't matter the realities, the political realities. Politics is made by information. Politics is made by agitation. Politics is made by democratization of all of these issues. Politics is made by politicians making messages that are received by the public and vice versa. So if people create the energy for impeachment, why would it not be the case that as Donald Trump continues to destroy the country on behalf of the Christian nationalist, extremist, zealot, bigoted right-wing billionaires, as Donald Trump continues to destroy our Constitution, wouldn't it be the case, as his numbers are historically low, that there would be more energy amongst MAGA Republican constituents for impeachment? Wouldn't that be the case? And so get out in front of it. Start the messaging now. Start to call for impeachment now. It does not matter if you have the functionality to complete the impeachment. What matters is that you create the idea for the public that impeachment is on the table. You extend the Overton window to include impeachment as a solution to the destruction of our Constitution and these high crimes and misdemeanors that are being perpetuated every single day. You create the idea of impeachment just as the idea of CRT, of woke, of DEI, of all of these things has been created for us by the right-wing billionaire think tanks. You have to start marketing your message. Your message has to be pro-democracy, and you have to start doing it immediately. Thank you. Yes, and we want to welcome in Linda Easley and everyone else who is watching on the Substack. For those of you watching on Twitch, on YouTube, we need everybody to interact with all of the functionality that exists for them to interact with their old pal Rev Deuce so that we can build up this movement. Now, we also want to remind people that this show is brought to you by Grass Milk. Grass Milk Soar, and we want to remind people that at all times they are in an information war. We're going to keep going through the news with Deuce, but we want you to know that we are doing this. Wow, that got crazy. Okay, so let's keep moving through the news with Deuce. What do we got here? Nope, we already saw that. What do we got here? Okay, so this is just, again, this is just to see what is happening in the information war, okay? To see what is happening on Fox News and how they create this wild program of manipulation and propaganda aided by people like Pam Bondi in the center here, right? Pam Bondi is the United States Attorney General. Pam Bondi is a corrupt individual who took money from Donald Trump when his company, his foundation, the Donald Trump Foundation in the 2000s was getting complaints for it being a fraudulent organization. Pam Bondi received tens of thousands of dollars from Donald Trump and then reduced those 22 complaints down to one complaint. And now she is the Attorney General of the United States. So this person who's out there lying to us about, you know, immigrants, lying to us about all of these things, willing to lie, is a corrupt figure. These are corrupt figures. Yes, and
trying to obstruct your efforts to make this country safer. What is your message to them?
We are going to prosecute you, and we are prosecuting you. I found out about this the day it happened. We could not believe, actually, that a judge really did that. We looked into the facts in great depth. That's her picture up on the screen, Hannah Dugan, who is now in custody. You cannot obstruct a criminal case, and really, shame on her. It was a domestic violence case of all cases, and she's protecting a criminal defendant over victims of crime.
This is so nuts, too, because, like, this is... Look, if the guy was a domestic abuser, that's not good, right? But this is the Attorney General saying that the case was about domestic abuse. Like, that's not how the law works. That's not how the highest legal official, like a top cop in the country, should be talking about anyone who has the presumption of innocence. Right? That's wild. Okay, she's talking, she calls these people deranged. She calls a judge deranged. Okay. Is this the same story? No, what's happening? Now, I also want to show you, I think that I saved this.
Of course, the research will...
Pardon me for that annoying loudness. I think that I saved this, but if I did not, I want to find it. Excuse me. There is a judge. There is a judge that I found. Here we go. Listen to this. Come on now.
I know Judge Dugan. I have supported her, and I have known her for years.
She's a very fine judge. She's very, very honest. She's committed no crime. And let's just explain real briefly the result of what happened. First of all, this is an administrative warrant. It wasn't a judicial warrant. An administrative warrant is issued by, in this case, ICE or the Naturalization Department without any judicial oversight whatsoever. So what they do is they come to the thing. She tells them to leave. Go to the chief judge's office, Judge Ashley, who also somebody I know. And they many leave, but one of them slyly stays behind. She then goes in and she says to the guy and his lawyer, leave by that exit. There's nothing wrong with that. She can control her courtroom. I litigated in Milwaukee for 40 years, and the whole issue of cameras in the courtroom, who can go in the courtroom, is up to the judge. It's up to the judge. These people should not be going into the courthouse, much less a courtroom. So she did it. She didn't mislead anybody. And now they, as an intimidation tactic, have charged her with 2 felonies in federal court. And she is innocent. She has committed no crime. And I think you're going to find people, including judges, will be uniformly supportive of her. I know Judge Dugan.
Okay,
I have
so we want
supported
everybody
her, and I
to
have
flood
known her
the
for
zone
years.
with facts and information that is in opposition to these radical liars and corrupt individuals who are at the head of our country. So we are just going to pop in really quick these. So sorry for the multiple things, and we are going to drop that into the chat. So we want you to go onto your Instagram, and we want you to share that with as many people as possible. We're also going to drop that into the Fact Warriors, because we are Fact Warriors. So we dropped it into the Fact Warriors in our Discord, because at all times we must be Fact Warriors in this world. Speaking of being Fact Warriors, friends, neighbors, loved ones watching online, we want you to go to Public Enlightenment's lists, okay? If you are wondering, how do I get a great source and stream of information that is not the legacy media stream that is letting us down, that is like normalizing and making false equivalents between a traditional flawed party like the Democratic Party and an extremist party that attempts coups and lies with regularity and just contravening the Constitution? Well, here is how you get that stream of information. You go onto Blue Sky. Everyone get a Blue Sky account. Get off of Twitter. Get a Blue Sky account. Go on to Blue Sky. Go to lists in Public Enlightenment's profile right here. Go to lists, and then you can find fact checkers, diverse opinion, historians, legal experts, the news. Okay? And so we click on the news. All right? And we have about 30 newsrooms here that are biased towards democracy, context, and facts. Okay? And so we want to be getting a different stream of information, and we want to maybe recommend this stream to our MAGA loved ones and friends, okay? We've got stuff from The Nation. We've got stuff from the New Republic, Democracy Doctorate, The Intercept, 19th News, Democracy Now!, Bolts. You can get all of this sources of information. Look at this, The Contrarian covering the democracy movement. That's incredible. We love that, okay? And we had Jean join us last week, and Jean told us about her sources of information. She said The Contrarian was one of them. So if you are not sure what to do in this time, the thing that you can do is stand up for facts and democracy and tell people about this fact-based stream of information that has been created for you by your pal, Rev Deuce. Rev Deuce is an information nutritionist. You don't have to trust me, but you can. Now, you can also pin and unpin this from your homepage, as you see up here at Pin and Unpin, so that you can always have access to it from your home feed. Look, there it is, living up there. Okay? So that is a way that you can get fact-based information and a contextualized source and worldview. You can also go to the lists and you can click on legal experts. You can click on diverse opinion, which is an assortment of different people who are fact-based individuals talking about the world. We might get rid of Oliver Willis because he is the type of person who says blue MAGA, and blue MAGA, you know, I don't know. That's kind of a pejorative thing. Of course, there are people who are like, you know, super excited about all things that the Republican Party does. That's interesting. But we do have to boost the only opposition party that like is viable. I do believe that. I do agree with that. But we also agree with Oliver Willis's takes like this one here. Fox News is a part of the Republican Party, not a propaganda machine. And when Democrats appear on the network, they make it easier to kill black, brown, LGBTQ people and women. There's no other way to see this. Now, that is an intense opinion, but that is what you should be exposing yourself to, is a variety of different opinions. We learned from John Flaff, who is a professor at Fordham Law, that today he learned that apparently in Maryland and Nevada, the gang enhancement law defines a gang as a group of one or more people, not more than one, which would be bad enough, one or more. So one guy can be his own gang. So we get the perspective we need to understand the news. Over here, Oliver Willis, honestly, I think I might have to take him off. He's posting way too much. You know what? That's it. Oliver Willis, you have earned a removal from Diverse Opinion because you post too much. There we go. In live. That's how we're doing it. Let's see what we got here. Oh, Mom Rowe, who's a fan of ours. We love her. Welcome. Okay, so what we want to do now is I wanted to show y'all some stuff like you can go to Media Matters for America and you can see what they're saying. Media Matters for America is a wonderful organization that has been attacked by the right-wing disinformation complex. Okay? Thank you, Madison, for making a joke that it is devastating to Oliver Willis that we removed him from our list. But so by the numbers, as Trump snubs legacy media, data shows his press briefings elevate right-wing outlets. So you should go check out Media Matters for America, add it to your sources of information, add it to your list, okay? We are all about helping you find fact-based information in this world, contextual information. If you've got sources of information that you have not seen on the program and you want to type them into the Substack chat, we would love to be made aware of healthy sources of information. We want to remind you that 1 in 5 U.S. adults gets their news from social media influencers, and over 60% of social media influencers do not fact-check any of their information before they share it online. So we need to be flooding the zone with facts because our fellow Americans are imbibing media diets of the equivalent of dog shit and broken glass milkshakes, and we need to push back on that at all times. Yes, it is song time, Madison, because it is time to wrap up the program for today. We will see you tomorrow at 9, hopefully 9 a.m. sharp, instead of the mistakes that Deuce made today. We begin every day's program with about 20 minutes of the religion that is the Mega Church of Joy, which is a religion based on the fact that we are all improvisers. We are all just making it up as we go along in life. And the religion is based on the tenets of quality improvisational comedy, which are the tools that we can use to manage our relationship with fear. Because fear is the obstructor to all of our ability to connect with human beings. And connecting with human beings is the surest path towards joy at all times. So we are going to sing a song about white guilt because that is what Madison is suggesting in the chat. We're going to go to the main tub for a second. And so the song we are going to sing is about white guilt. And we are going to go to, and we need the suggestion of a, a genre, hopefully from, okay, it's coming from Twitch. We got rock, white guilt. Rock music. I typed it. What happened? Oh, because sound effects. Want music. Okay, rock. Marley, we're going to have to do that tomorrow. But also, is that a culture war bullshit idea? I need culture war bullshit ideas. Okay, upbeat motivation rock. Okay, we're going to do that one. We're going to do that one. Hold on, my internet is having problems. Let's go, internet. Come on, load this thing, baby. Come on. I want to load it. What the heck, man? Hold on, everybody. I got a problem with Pixabay. Pixabay problems, everybody. Hold on. What is the deal? All right, well, look, Rev Deuce can't, load it, but he's going to do it. Okay, so we are about to improvise a song based on the suggestion of white guilt. We get suggestions of bullshit culture war topics that are generated in right-wing think tanks to divide all of us. Today's suggestion is white guilt, and so we are going to improvise a song. The suggestion for genre is rock. Here we go.
Some people 100 years ago did some bad things, and those people I don't know, they were my ancestors. Okay, we missed the chorus that time. Oh yeah, ooh. My great
Okay, we're going to do it again.
Some people a long time ago, they did some stuff, but those people I didn't know. No, I didn't know. But I'm white, so I got white guilt. It's plaguing me, yeah, I got white guilt. I cannot see the reality where I'm not responsible for things that happened before I was born. I got white guilt, it's plaguing me. I got white guilt. Why can't you see that the things that people did 100 years ago, they make us feel shame 'cause we didn't do them. I'm in the church and I am told that it's all my fault. I'm at a progressive school and they teach Jim Crow, and they don't say it's my fault, but Republicans say that they're telling me it's my fault. So every day I'm crying 'cause I'm a little white boy crying in my school, covered in my drool. I'm so scared that I did all the bad things. It's a white guilt, it's clinging me, yeah. They're telling me that I should be ashamed 'cause I got white guilt. They're coming for me. I'm crying in the bathroom 'cause I can see how people 100 years ago or more, they were racist, and so I have to be racist too. I guess I don't really understand the argument, but they're teaching me history, and so I must cry. I've gotta cry because some white people I didn't know did bad things, so therefore I have to feel really terrible about it because Republicans tell me that I have to.
Okay, I think that's a good one. We're going to cut that one. White guilt, that's a hit. That's a banger. Okay, everybody, we got to go. Rev Deuce has to go. So Rev Deuce wants you to be a fact warrior. Rev Deuce wants you to get out there every single day. Make love the Brooklyn way. Make love, not war. Love people. How will you be a rock star today? How will you motivate other people today? Rev Deuce is releasing a video later today that is about how Fox News is made to manipulate people. It is a 2-minute video that Rev Deuce and his fiance put together over the weekend, and we think you're really going to love it. So we need you to go onto Rev Deuce's YouTube and TikTok and Instagram and spread that video far and wide. And we will be producing more videos. Hopefully we will get some more songs out some clips of the song. So if you enjoyed this program, especially if you're on Substack, please be sure to like and subscribe. Sign up for a paid subscription. Rev Deuce is going to monetize that soon. If you want to support Rev Deuce in other ways, you can go right here and you buy Rev Deuce a cup of coffee, you know what I mean? Or buy him 1 million cups of coffee by giving him $3 million. We're pretty sure Venmo and Cash App can handle $3 million transactions. Please love, follow, subscribe, push, do everything possible to boost your old pal Rev Deuce. We are going to continue to build and grow this movement with your help. If you have been watching on Substack, we want to encourage you to watch on other platforms in the future. I guess Rev Deuce probably should have said something about that earlier in the program. I love you. You love me. Go out and be a fact warrior. Spread fact-based information at all times, because the oligarchs and billionaires and authoritarians and their lackeys like Steve Bannon, who are enemies of democracy, Jack Posobiec, right, and wokeness on Twitter, right, these agents of disinformation and manipulation are out to get us at all times. They want to flood the zone with shit. Well, we have to flood the zone with facts. Yes, and 1 million times over. Yes, and. So go out there, have a beautiful day, call a friend, go for a walk, log off, read a book. But if you are online, spread fact-based information at all times that aligns with small d democratic values. Yes, and I love you. You love me. We are in an information war at all times. This program was brought to you by Grass Milk Soar, and we want to say we love you, and we'll see you tomorrow, 9 a.m. sharp. Yes, and. David Stady, you missed it, but we love you. Come back tomorrow at 9 a.m. Thank you so much. This has been the Mega Church of Joy.